Hello, my beautiful friends. Welcome back to Shining Brighter. My name's Nick, and as you saw today's title, How Not to Give a, and I'm pretty sure you can fill in that last word. You don't need my help with that. So, I wasn't intending to make this video. I was, oddly enough, I was just talking with my therapist in session, and I was, explaining to her that I had just made the previous videos on a return to traditional values. I do have another one coming out soon, and I make videos when I get more or less guided to make them on what the topics are. And I said, I haven't figured out what the next video is going to be yet, but we happen to be talking about the fact that I've been really happy for the last few months. Nothing bothering me, nothing getting to me. I still have to figure out work and everything once all my physical ailments are taken care of. But I'm not worried. I'm okay for now. I have access to money to keep me going for the time being. And I certainly don't want to exhaust that, but in the meantime, I still need a shoulder surgery, so not as if I can just jump right back into the work and say, hey, I'm going to be gone for 6 months. But at any rate, she asked me, she's like, how did you get to this point? Because I'd really like to know, like, how do you not give a? And I said, well, honestly, doing all the shadow work I did on myself, taking responsibility for what was my fault, what I allowed and what I accepted, really working on my self-respect and knowing my worth and my value and setting healthy boundaries, and I have much higher standards than I used to for what I will tolerate and allow. And the biggest part of it really came down to the people that I was letting get me down, the people that were trying to keep me down, the people that didn't want me to succeed. And it's sad that they didn't want me to succeed, because I didn't do anything to them for them to want that. What it really came down to, and this is going to sound arrogant, and it's not, it's just the truth, is that they were just jealous. Jealous of the person that I am, jealous of whatever things they perceived about me, and definitely jealous of all that I'm capable of, because I don't limit myself. And I think one of the greatest gifts I've ever given myself was the ability to do for myself. Self-reliance is huge. And when I say there isn't much that I can't do, I can't do everything, and I can't do everything better than everybody else, but, I was a police officer for 23 years. I was a firearms instructor for 15. I was a motorcycle officer. Ran a citizen police academy, wrote policy, wrote procedures, the honor guard. I was the top gun in my department. But aside from those things, I was also a landscaper for 11 years. So there's not much I can't do out in the yard. I can more or less build a house if I needed to. I can do a lot of repairs on vehicles. Of course, it's getting more difficult these days, but I don't shy away from things. If I can talk to somebody who knows or watch a video and I can understand it, then I'll try it. And I think a lot of people, where I worked, were kind of one-trick ponies, because either they didn't believe in themselves, or they just thought, they wouldn't find something that paid as well as being a police officer. That's on them. So, but once you realize why people are down on you, why they're trying to keep you down, why they want you to fail, then all of a sudden you kind of realize they're projecting all of their negative traits onto you to make themselves feel better. And understanding that, you realize, it's a sad way to live. I certainly wouldn't want to live that way. I don't wish it on anybody. For the people that were negative towards me and did what they could do to keep me down, I don't wish them either ill, because I believe in karma and I don't want that coming back around on me. Besides the fact that I just don't wish that on anybody. I don't have that kind of personality. I would love to see people succeed. I would love to see people have the capacity to learn and grow, heal, become better versions of themselves. And that was why, I was subjected to that for so long, because I gave a lot of grace and a lot of forgiveness to people because I saw a version of them that I believe that they could be a much better version. And I wanted that for them. So instead of writing them off and telling them off or whatever, I swallowed a lot of my pride, my anger, and I tried to show them a better way. I tried to show them the person I was. And unfortunately, that's not how life works. If people don't respect you for whatever reason, being nice to them is not going to change that. It's going to make it worse. So having realized that, and then looking at those people, my perception of them changed quite a bit. And again, I don't wish them ill. And I really shouldn't feel sorry for them, because that's another negative emotion heading out in the universe. But like I said, I just realized I wouldn't want to be them. I wouldn't want to have to live the way they do. I wouldn't want to have to live with jealousy or anger, frustration, or hate. Especially not hate. Hate burns up so much energy, and it just comes back on you. It's not worth it, really. Forgive the wind if it's bad. I'm trying to block the speak as best I can. But once you do that and you start seeing people for who they are and how they treat you, then you understand. And then you start setting healthy boundaries. And if those people don't abide by your boundaries, goodbye. They're gone. They don't deserve your energy. They don't deserve a place in your life. And I don't feel bad cutting them off. I'm not trying to wish ill on anybody, but I don't have time for that. If people aren't here for my best interests, like I am for them, it's reciprocal. It's not just a one-way street. Then they don't need to be in my energy. I don't need them. And that might sound cold, but it's not. It's just a matter of boundaries, and everybody is entitled to having them. Why should you accept less? If you're not doing anything to hurt anybody, and you're actually trying to be good to them and help them, then why should you accept them being bad to you? So don't. And you know what? That's okay. Everybody has their own choice of what they're going to do, what they're going to allow, who they're going to talk to. I just choose not to deal with those people anymore. My life's so much better because of it. Like I've said before in other videos, my marriage was toxic. It wasn't healthy. And there was no fixing it. I had tried for a very long time and it just wasn't going to happen. And I knew it was bad for everybody, so I ended that. And I don't wish my ex any ill. I hope she's moves forward and is very happy with her life. I hope she works on herself and, becomes a happier person. And that, excuse me. And then, next up was work. And work was miserable. And, sadly, my bosses had it out for me because they saw that I wasn't putting up with what they were giving me, and I was speaking my mind. And, I wasn't being rude, but I just wasn't accepting poor treatment. Why should I? And, it didn't end the way I would have liked. But it ended, and it ended because the universe wanted me out of there because it was affecting my health in a very bad way. And I'm grateful to be gone, honestly. I still believe in the work itself. Being a retired police officer, I still believe that it's a very noble profession and that there are a lot more good police officers than bad. It's just the bad ones get publicized. The good ones really don't. But it wasn't resonating with me anymore. It was no longer my path in life. My path changed. And coming to the realization that my purpose is to help people. That's when I started the YouTube channel, because I figured that was the easiest way to get to the largest amount of people possible. Now, channel's not big by any means. There's always room for growth and always potential. And, I'll be happy if it reaches out to as many people as possible. And I'll be even more happy if it really helps people. But I wasn't able to do that, prior to leaving those things because they were such a negative draw in my energy. So again, boundaries, priorities, respect, self-worth, self-value, those things all came into play, and I'm in such a better place now. I know my life is going to keep going up. I might have some setbacks. Setbacks happen. It's how we learn. It's how we grow. It's how we move forward. I can always learn more. I don't know everything. And you know what? Everything that I give you on this channel, while it's meant to be helpful to you, you may have a different perspective. You might not see with me eye to eye. You might not agree with what I'm saying, and that's okay. Nobody knows everything. But if we all, kind of pool our knowledge and share our wisdom, then everybody benefits and everybody can get better. And everybody can learn how not to give a. And when you do that, life is so much better. I wish that I knew in my 20s what I know now, because I allowed so much unnecessary stress and grief and anxiety in my life. Part of that is being Capricorn, it's just what we do. Until we're healed, then life's a whole different story. But, I was put through the ringer, and a lot of it was self-inflicted because I didn't have the boundaries that I have now. And bear with me, I'm walking through some snow here. It's not easy, but I look back at those people and who cares? I'm away from them. I don't have to deal with them ever again. They're out of my life. They don't get to come back. They don't get the benefit of my energy, my forgiveness, my grace, my positivity. It's on them. They have to live with it, and they have to go on with their lives, and I hope that they can finally kind of look at themselves and start doing the work to heal, because some of them have a lot of potential. They just don't believe in themselves, and I understand that, because there was a time that I didn't believe in myself so much. I didn't have that self-confidence that I do now. But, you know, if we can't forgive and we can't, you know, wish positive things for people, then we can't grow, because we're holding on to that negative energy, that anger, that resentment, that frustration. And that's no good. I mean, you're not hurting them, you're hurting yourself. And that's the hardest part of, you know, learning not to give up, is realizing that the only person you're hurting is yourself by holding on to all of that. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it's a hard thing to learn. It was difficult for me to get to that point, because when we're hurting and we're angry and we're frustrated because of what people are doing to us, because we're allowing it, we don't want to admit that part, it's really hard to flip the script and say, wait a minute, why am I allowing this to bother me? This is only hurting me. Because it's human nature to want to blame and point fingers and say it's your fault or her fault or his fault that I'm not the best version of me. And we do that because it's a lot easier than doing the shadow work that we need to do to heal. And I'm not gonna lie, man and women, shadow work is hard. It's very hard. It takes you to some really tough places. You have to be able to make some real admissions about what your role has been in what you consider failures in your life or anger in your life. And you got to come to terms with it and say, okay, nobody can fix me. I'm the only one that has the power to do that. Now I have to make the decision and the commitment to do it. And, you know, the majority of the work that I had to do took almost 2.5 years. And I'm not telling you that, you know, I'm 100%, because, you know, we can always learn, we can always improve, we can always do better. And you have to want that, and I do want that. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you it's easy, because I'd be lying, and I won't lie to you. But what I will tell you is the reward for doing the work is so much greater than the pain of doing the work. But you can't sit on top of the mountain if you're not willing to climb it. You know, people can help, they can guide, they can support, but nobody can fix you. You're the only one who can do it, because you are the only one who can look at yourself and figure out what you need to take accountability for, figure out what your worth and value is, respect yourself, and set and enforce healthy boundaries. So once you can do all those things, and I'm telling you right now, every single one of you, you can do it. Nothing can stop you but you. And nobody can have power over you unless you give it to them. So don't. I believe in each and every one of you. I believe you're strong enough to do the work. And anybody who kind of struggles or needs a starting point or a word of encouragement, reach out and let me know. I will be happy to do whatever I can to help you on your path. It's the whole point of the channel. It's why I'm here, guys and girls. Excuse me. When I say guys, I don't mean just men. I've said that before, but it's important to know this is for everybody, men and women. So in closing, guys, I really hope you all learn how to not give a, because your life's going to be so much better when you do. I'm proud of all of you. I believe in all of you, and I care about all of you. So, as I always say, know your value, know your worth, respect yourselves, and I see you all for who you really are, and I truly do love you all for it. So, until next time, take care, guys.